This episode of Total Drama Reviews contains clips from Total Drama Action. I do not own Total Drama Action. All rights go to FreshTV. Remember to be civil and do not be me in the comments. Seriously, it can get really messed up. Carpe diem. My name is Ultranatic. Oh boy, do I hate this one. And this is Total Drama Reviews. This is where I, as a lover of animation and reality shows, look over the show that combine them together the best. And we're here to talk about the prison movie themed episode of Total Drama Action, The Chefshank Redemption. Obviously named after the Stephen King novella and film of the same name, our contestants are now stuck in the Hooskow and must perform challenges that even the Orange of the New Black cast wouldn't take part in. Actually, to be honest, I think a prison break challenge is a great idea. Heck, they've done that before in Survivor several times, in fact, and even here it's still pretty well done. But while the competition is well executed, the writing sure as hell isn't. But how can that be when the supposed worst thing about this season got eliminated in the last episode? Well, before we get into all of that, I'm gonna be doing things a bit out of order this time. I'll still get to plot of the episode and make jokes all throughout it, but the big problems I have with the story and characters, I'm gonna be saving for the end. Because if I stop and address all of them while the episode is still going on, it's gonna feel like I'm imprisoning you. But, to make sure you don't feel that way, I'm gonna imprison myself. So, let me just lock myself up. This is the Chefshank Redemption. So we open with the characters game woken up and Owen having to rub sand out of his eyes. Beautiful as a solar eclipse. And that you should never look at it. As it's revealed, our contestants are locked in their trailers. So basically Monday for Duncan.
Dudes, I got this. Come on! Owen, we had cowboy beans last night. You're seriously risking a toxic gas leak. That's all I am to you? Some kind of human fart machine?
Owen, you make Timmy Tutu look environmentally sound.
They've got to open the door, right? I have claustrophobia.
Oh, that's why you're scared of being buried alive. Phew, that's a relief. I was worried your worst fear was totally irrational.
Climb, climb! There'd be a lot more to climb if Mount DJ was here.
Yeah, where is DJ anyway?
Okay, maggot. I'm gonna ride you till your confidence coats the back of a spoon.
Chef, thank your lucky stars that you work on Total Drama and not compete on it. Because wow, you'd suck as a player if you're this freaking dumb. You just casually bring DJ in for KP duty in a special Johnny Appleseed hat and don't expect the other players to notice?
What is that? Taste perfection, boy. My leg!
Hell, why even bother keeping your alliance a secret anymore? Why don't you just start doing challenges for DJ? Are you mooshooing me? Actually, to the episode's credit, this is DJ's best appearance all season. He's always been built up as a heroic player, but has become more and more flanderized as just a whiny little wuss. But here, we see the honor and integrity he holds, along with a strong connection to his mother.
I can almost hear your sweet lullabies, Mama.
With dignity, and he's not annoying. In fact, I call him downright charming and comforting later on, but again, we'll get to that.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Give her!
But I don't want to use my hand.
Today is Prison Flick Day!
Lovely. At least we've got the only actual ex-con on our team.
It was only juvenile detention. Don't get too excited.
Yeah, don't get too excited. It's not like he escaped juvie by scaling down a wall and evading the authorities. What is it with this show allowing criminals to be on it?
Prison. The confinement. The claustrophobia. The vile, nasty food. And you're always looking over your shoulder. Cause Mr. Killer Dude wants to cut ya for taking the last tater tot. And no matter how hard you try, digging out spoonfuls of dirt year after year, there's no escape.
Yep, Chris has definitely done time before, and given how he runs this show, I'm surprised he's still not there. So their first challenge is for each team to pick a prisoner from the other team, and that's all we get. How aggravatingly vague.
And Chef, Warden, lock him up.
Also on a side note, I hate how they have Chef play the warden and he just wears the same outfit he did in Basic Straining. You do realize that prison wardens and MTIs are not the same thing, right? So the gaffers pick Lindsay because of a prior incident.
Remember when Lindsay locked herself in the bathroom? She lost it, drank everyone's shampoos in case any of them were magic potions, and then barfed on herself.
My leg!
Yeah, we didn't see that, but I'd absolutely count that as a trip to the ER. And the Grips pick Gwen, seeing as she owes them a challenge win.
Oh, we shouldn't have any trouble beating Gwen.
Today's first game is the Prison Challenge. Each team of prison chefs whips up the foulest, nastiest, most barf-inducing slop this side of Alcatraz.
So the Grips and Gappers begin putting nasty foods together. Hell's Kitchen clips on standby. But DJ decides to put Mama Spice in the dish.
How's a self-respecting chef supposed to serve that? Mama Spice. And Mama would be proud.
I neither know nor care what that spice really is. It can't possibly hide the taste of, oh, what did the Gappers put in it?
Duncan goes right for the roaches. Harold tops it off with some slimy anchovy paste. And oh, here come the horse lips.
Where do you even get these things?
I'm just going with Jeff's answer from Brunch of Disgustingness.
I think they just use stuff from Chef's bathroom floor.
We have the braised horse lips with the goat brains fricassee and the fish gut reduction.
That must be one of the worst combinations I've ever tasted in 21 years of cooking.
I'm just gonna add an extra 2 to the casualty counter. So the eating challenge begins, and Gwen actually tries to do the Grips a solid and throw up. I mean it.
I was imagining every horrifying, barf-worthy thing I could, drinking the janitor's mop water. The time my brother puked on my neck on the tilt-a-whirl. When I was babysitting and the dog ate the kids' diapers and then licked my face. But nothing was working.
You know, it just dawned on me, you make Shaggy and Scooby's stomachs look weak. You are eating what looks like a bowl of flour with maggots all over it, thinking those thoughts, and you don't puke? Come to think of it, have you ever puked at all in the show?
Eat dog food.
So you don't puke at this, but you will puke at that? That's a very selectively strong stomach.
Wow, that's delicious.
Do you understand the object of this game?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do.
It's like I'm eating an angel's wings.
Okay, Mama Spice is pot. It is ground up like parsley flakes, thus making it a suitable spice. There is no way she'd be eating a bowl of shit unless there was pot in it. And yeah, I know we got told the other ingredients, but tell me that thing she's holding and eating does not look like a literal bowl of shit.
It's a Mardi Gras gumbo.
Oh, God. Does it normally look like a plate of liquid shit?
No. It's gonna be good.
Oh, excuse me. In hell.
I think that counts as a loss for the Gaffers, and Jesus, gag reflex! Okay, nearly headless Nick would be more alive than you be after pulling that stunt, you disgusting freaking cave woman! This causes Lindsay to vomit. Yeah, no amount of pot can make me stomach that either. Giving the Gaffers the win and making Gwen feel conflicted.
They'll be thanking you in the elimination challenge.
Thanks, Gwen. So much for our deal.
Why are you blaming Gwen when you should be blaming Beth? Even when Chef is berating DJ for inadvertently sabotaging his team, he acknowledges that Beth lost that challenge for the Grips more than anything.
If it wasn't for Beth's disgusting retainer thing, you could have blown it for the whole team.
This leads to part 2 where the teams must select somebody to push their entire team in a laundry cart through an obstacle course and then dig their way out of jail.
I'll do it.
You sure you can handle the pressure? If you like being the one who could lose us the whole thing.
Man, to be fair, he was like this in Right on Set.
Oh, no. Don't expect me to. What if the trailer slips and rolls back down the hill and possibly hurts someone? What then?
He's way better here, but that was still pretty lame. Of course, Gwen takes the reins in Tane to throw it, and to make things look even, the Grips pick Lindsay. Heather notices this and smells something rotten, which could be either Gwen's scheme or her breath. Pick one.
The girl is seriously sketchy. I, for one, refuse to trust her.
I do like how for once Heather is against Gwen for non-personality based reasons. It's something I've always respected about her, that as villainous as she is, she's still playing to win. Didn't exactly work out for her in the first season, but I respect the mentality all the same.
On your marks, get set, escape!
Duh, of course this was going to happen. You've got Lindsay trying to push Owen. It's like Daphne Blake taking on Arnold Schwarzenegger. Both women have their physically strong moments, but even then the scales are tipped heavily against them here.
Wow, Gwen. You're going even faster than Trent ever could.
But Gwen heard that normal volume statement from several yards away and feigns getting a cramp.
Good girl. Trent would be proud.
I demand an explanation.
So do I. We established that Lindsay could barely budge the cart, and now she suddenly passes them with no problem. I know Gwen stopped, but she's only done so for 5 seconds, already being well ahead of the grip. So where and when did Lindsay get this sudden burst of strength? Did we get an off-screen delivery of spinach from Popeye?
Lindsay?
Lindsay? Lindsay!
Thank God Lindsay can stop a car with Owen as well as she can start pushing it. Yeah, still no idea how that happened.
Get digging, Sleepy McBumperhead.
Someone's dirt's in my hole. I'm gonna get it out.
Lashana, you'll hurt yourself.
Would it kill you to offer a little encouragement?
Would it kill you to show a little compassion? What if Gwen's just really concerned that her best friend Lashana might overdo it?
Sue me for caring about the well-being of my teammates.
Exactly, I know your eye is on Gwen, but not everything she's doing equals out to throwing the challenge. Okay, this probably does, but still, don't you care about Lashana?
Well, at least I'm not a big-butted, loudmouth, mall-shopping homegirl. Why is it that we have to stare at your navel all day? Put a shirt on. Back off, ghetto glamour, too-tight pants-wearing rap star wannabe. And maybe I don't want to sleep near a two-faced, bossy little string bean of a prom queen. Are you going to be a team player or not? Ooh, I'm a team player, but I'm also allergic to pineapple.
I stand by you both secretly like each other. For once, I'm happy to get one of those.
So, you ever seen that prison flick? The one with the guy in it? You know, the guy with the face? So, were you doing anything after work? We could always rent a... Or not. I was busy anyway. Very busy. I was just throwing it out there.
What was the point of that scene? No, seriously, why did we see that? It's just a scene where Chris tries and fails making small talk with Chef. Nothing funny is being said, it's just really awkward and feels like they were missing 20 seconds from the episode and needed to fill it with something. Heck, I'm not even sure that was in the script. I bet that was just Christian Potenza talking to a mic during a break and didn't realize he was still being recorded.
So, were you doing anything after work? We could always rent a... Or not. I was busy... anyway.
Too bad there's nowhere else in the episode where that 20 seconds could have gone. Right on freaking cue. We cut to some shots underground. Again, really curious how they got those camera angles. Where the grips are definitely behind, only having spoons to dig while the gappers have a shovel. Despite this, Gwen still has an idea of how to stall her team.
Oh, my claustrophobia! The walls! They're closing in! I can't take another second! Ah!
Okay. This is straight up the best scene in the entire episode. The bad acting from Gwen, the good acting from voice actress Megan Fallenbach, the chaos of the moment leading to Gwen clubbing Harold over the head and adding another point to the casualty counter. When I think of a reality show with animated characters, this is the batch that I'm hoping for. Complete kudos. But as if Gwen gets the only strong character moment here.
We're the Screaming Gappers. And we're gonna win even if we have to dig with our bare hands, even if we have to eat our way out.
I guess Chef's training really is doing something because DJ's grown a pair of balls and is motivating his team. Good, that makes him more masculine than the villain from Hunchback 2. Not the highest bar to reach, but still, progress is progress.
Let's get our dig on.
Yep, I'd say that's her.
E-Scope, don't take this as me not being happy to see you because I am very happy to see you, but what are you doing here?
I've been living underground amongst the prairie dogs. Butchie, it's okay. These are my friends.
So, just like last season, E-Scope was eliminated, sort of remained in the game, began living in a wilderness environment near the game.
Easy line! She wasn't in the woods! She was...
Wow, she has issues, huh?
Allegedly, and is now officially back in the game. Normally, I'd be pissed at you completely recycling shit, but if it results in more episodes with E-Scope, I'm throwing all complaints out the window.
Follow me! I know a shortcut to the finish line!
You were a killer grip. One of our sworn enemies.
Friends, enemies. Living down here, it changes like your whole perspective.
I mean, the Grips did vote me out. What more motivation do I need to help you guys out? She helps him find an underground shortcut. By the way, that tunnel is big enough to not interfere with her makeshift antlers. And once they find the finish line...
Oh, heck no!
Okay, stop. The Grips winning because Gwen threw a challenge. I get that. That makes sense. But how is it we never see how they won? They were kind of chilling in their tunnel, and even with E-Scope helping the gappers, they still beat them?
What do you say we ratchet this operation back a notch, huh?
Remember that useless 20-second clip of Chris and Chef? Yeah, couldn't that have been used to show how they beat the gappers? Did you just not have any idea of how to get them there first, so you had to show them doing so off-screen?
How did you get back here before us?
How did we, Kronk?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
This causes Yyyyyup to join the Grips instead, but how was she allowed back in the game at all?
We voted you off.
You voted off Kaleidoscope.
Izzy, time to go.
I'm not going anywhere. That's not my name.
Can I get a pen over here? It says E-scope now, okay?
So, Izzy's still technically in the game.
Okay, I know I said I'd throw all complaints out the window, but did no one think this twist through? Izzy changing her name to E-scope at the end of last season means she was never officially voted out of this season as Izzy?
Bullshit!
You do realize this means that any contestant can re-enter the game by just changing their name then, right? I honestly lost my Rules Are God folder. No idea how it became bulkier than the contracts the characters sign in the show, but I've still got the picture. That will suffice because this was the stupidest GD twist ever. This results in the gaffers losing and Heather pushing for Gwen to go home.
It's so sad that you'll be kicked off tonight, isn't it, Death Mask?
Thankfully, it looks like the votes aren't on her side as DJ comforts Gwen, which again is a very sweet moment from him.
Gwen, here. After all the barfing, running, and digging, you need to keep your strength up.
Aw, thanks, DJ.
And no one else was ever really on Heather's side this episode, so Heather will obviously go home.
Tonight's final Gilded Chris and another chance at the million goes to Heather!
Wait a minute, what? No, I'm sorry, I am not accepting this without some idea of who voted for Gwen and why.
Voting for Gwen? Yeah, that hurt. Something must have gone off for Gwen, smacking Harold upside his sweet little head like that.
Thing is, if Gwen had stayed in the game, I'd either have to break a shovel over her head or fall in love with her. Obviously, neither option was feasible.
My vote plus Lashana and Harold's equals the greatest day of my life.
Oh. For once we get a voting history having 3 votes accounted for against Gwen. I guess that being enough to send her home. Theoretically, you'd need 4 for majority. Anyone else vote for her by chance?
Definition of lousy? Being a stickler for your word and having to vote yourself off. Whoever's in charge of karma, I hope that counts for something.
Okay, 2 huge problems here. First, how am I alive? No, seriously. How am I alive? My head just blew up. You don't come back from something like that. Not the point. Actual first problem, you cannot vote yourself off in Survivor. Well, okay, there's instances in Australian Survivor when that's happened, but no one regards those seasons anyways. So the closest there is to voting yourself off in Survivor is quitting, and I despise people who quit. Not all quitters. There are some people who quit due to a family emergency or something of that nature. That's understandable. But when you quit because you don't like the elements, no, there are people who would give their right leg to play Survivor. Heck, 2 people have played the game without their right leg and did fairly well for themselves. But second problem, if Gwen voted herself off, why didn't she do that in her first season?
Why don't you just put us out of our misery and vote yourself off?
My personal opinions of her then aside, all she talked about back then was how much she hated it. And now you're telling us she could have left at any time?
Oh, I hate this place.
This revelation is the most infuriating
slap in the face, literally taking your dick out and whipping it across my chin feeling that I have ever had in my life.
Yeah, that. And that was the Chefshank redemption. I know I went on a few tangents in the episode regarding Best Retainer and the loophole Izzy had to come back in the game, but those are not the biggest problems with the episode overall. No. To understand those, let's talk about Gwen.
Ever since the whole awful Trent thing went down, I've just been waiting for karma to bite me in the butt.
Yeah, as I've been pointing out, Gwen does so many things in this episode that I despise in a reality show contestant. Through challenges, check, essentially quit the game, check, potentially injure a contestant, check-a-rooney. And those infractions are so monumental to my principles that I feel obligated to give Gwen an official ranking as a character this episode. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awesome and 1 being awful, Gwen gets 6. Yeah. Surprisingly, I don't think she's the problem with the episode. Okay. What I said before stands. I normally find the things Gwen did this episode irredeemable. Well, except the shovel over Harold's head. I still found that funny and not that out of character. But I don't hate her for doing those things because of the reason she did them. Now, how does that make any sense? I hated Trent for throwing challenges, but not her? Isn't that hypocritical?
If I'm gonna have any chance with Gwen, I've gotta find some way to help her out.
Well, when Trent did it, he only did to impress Gwen, which made no sense and only added to how pathetic he was. Gwen was doing it as a solid for the Grips, who rightfully didn't earn those losses, so she was evening things out.
Were they talking about Trent? The same guy who happened to get voted off last time? Coincidence? Or did you and the Grips cut a deal?
But why does that make it okay with me? It's still throwing challenges. Well, because despite me hating that, Gwen surprisingly isn't doing the most in the episode to piss me off. To understand where my real anger comes from, we have to go over the concept of underdog story. You all know them, a narrative about losers with passion but little skill against a group more dominant than them. But through hard work and dedication, they're able to win against them in the end, much to the audience's delight. It's a classic, fan-favorite story where we want so badly to root for our heroes. What I bet you didn't know is that it's possible to botch this story by making the underdogs completely despicable. Think it's not possible? Well, check out the Blue Team from Hell's Kitchen Season 11, for example. One of the worst performing teams ever in Hell's Kitchen, only winning 3 out of 12 reward challenges and 3 out of 14 dinner services. So naturally, despite these terrible odds, you'd think we'd want to root for these guys, right?
I don't like waiters. They're annoying.
Japanese food is like Chinese food. And the only reason I know that because my one Korean friend told me this. I'm looking at Jeremy sauteing off kale, literally catching fire, getting burnt. Yeah, don't even serve that.
I'm not. Worry about your side, let me do my side, yeah?
It's my station, and I don't need his help. So shut up and do what you're supposed to be doing.
You sound like a little bitch.
Don't call me a bitch.
You're a bitch. Do something about it.
He's literally giving me the finger behind his back.
Oh, I did. I just gave him the finger, Chef.
Earlier, Chef Ray tells me to off. I'm definitely gonna get revenge. I'm trying to sabotage him. I'm the last person you want to cross. This is the lesson learned the hard way.
Wow, that's some prime meat asshole right there. Can I have yesterday's asshole? No, you deserve the creme de la creme asshole. Straight from the witch's vagina.
Yeah, these guys are an example of a complete underdog team being 100% hateable. Well, okay, not 100% hateable. I did like about half of that team. But if I had to point to a team of underdogs who are 100% hateable, it would be the Killer Grips.
Who will win this week? Could it be the Grips?
It could still happen. We're not losers.
Yeah, you want the real problem with the episode? It's Justin, Owen, Lindsay, and Beth. I know they felt cheated out of the last few episodes, and fair enough, I would too. But remember in 310 The Crazy Town when they told Gwen that she owes them?
Trent's been purposely throwing our challenges for Gwen.
It wasn't my fault. I wasn't in on it, I swear.
We'll see about that. Either way, you owe us, Gwen.
Which, no she doesn't. It's not her fault your team leader kept making you lose.
Thing is, if Gwen wants to win, why is it unethical for me to help her? I'm Trent first and a Killer Grip second.
Not directly anyways, but Gwen saw them as right and tried helping them out by throwing this challenge, which, as questionable as I find that, is a solid move on her part karma-wise. And what do the Grips do all episode? Treat her like absolute shit!
Wow, Gwen, you're going even faster than Trent ever could.
No, I'm not kidding. Gwen is their best hope for winning this challenge, and all they do is keep making snide comments at her.
Thanks, Gwen. So much for our deal.
Good girl.
Trent would be proud.
Oh, we shouldn't have any trouble beating Gwen.
Making her feel all the worse and forming a sense of obligation for her to let them win. In fact, before I make this comment, let me count the characters that we know got blackmailed in the movie Clue.
Professor Plum, Mrs. Peacock.
I too am being blackmailed.
Me too. And me.
Not me.
You're not being blackmailed?
Oh, I'm being blackmailed, all right.
I was a victim too. At least my wife was. She had friends who were socialists, and so he blackmailed her.
Great, we have that number now. I brought that up because Mr. Body did less blackmailing with 8 people than the Grips did with just Gwen. I mean, Justin I can almost understand. He's supposed to be the villain, but what excuse do Lindsay and Beth have?
Thanks, Gwen. So much for our deal. Wow, Gwen, you're going even faster than Trent ever could.
Yeah, remember those bookmarks where Beth keeps talking about things being nice?
If meanness contagious? Totally. I was really hoping they'd replace Chris the Creep with a nicer host this time around. Is that mean? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Nice Beth, but Gwen got better treatment in this episode from Heather.
It's so sad that you'll be kicked off tonight, isn't it, Deathmatch?
You know, Gwen's worst enemy, the woman who did all of these things to her.
You don't want to fall behind. With words by Gwen, performance by me. Enjoy. I know it's a cliche, but I love guys who play guitar.
Well, here is nice as she is, at least she treated Gwen like an equal, but you treat Gwen like she's beneath you. And when you, Beth, and also Lindsay are treating Gwen worse than Heather is, are you starting to see why they infuriate me? But oh wait, it gets worse. If you thought me calling these characters worse than Heather was bad, that's nothing. At least I like Heather. But before I share an even worse comparison, let me tell you the other thing I hate that the Grips did. Or rather, did not do. You'll see what I mean in a minute. You see, Gwen is trying to throw the challenge to make things easier for the Grips to win.
It's in the bag. Gwen owes us.
But what if locking her up means she's out of the challenge, though?
But did anyone else notice that the Grips did nearly everything possible to lose the challenge anyways? Seriously, look back at everything the Grips do and see if it doesn't add up. The eating challenge they could have won given DJ's muck up, but when Beth puts the costed retainer back in her mouth...
Thanks! My dad would have killed me.
Are you even gonna wash that thing after it was found in? It makes Lindsay puke despite their obvious advantage. Okay, I can kind of excuse that. I mean, I won't excuse that, it's revolting, but theoretically that could have made Gwen throw up too. Actually, it kinda did. Still don't know why it didn't cost the gaffers, whatever, not the point. But then we have the laundry cart obstacle course, where a whole team gets in a laundry cart to be pushed by only one person. So which Grip gets in first to be pushed?
Oh, dang trick knee's been acting up since that time I pushed it to the max at the sports game.
Quick flashback to season 1.
Push! Why is this thing so heavy?
That is 4 people, including Lindsay, trying to push Owen. And now you're asking Lindsay to push him and the rest of the team by herself?
The gaffers have Gwen pushing. We don't want it to look too uneven. I think we need a girl, too, to help hide the whole cheating business. And Beautiful, the way you took on that last challenge nearly blew my mind.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Pump those foxy legs. Come on, pump.
Do you know how much you and Omar weigh? I'm doing my best.
Guys, you screwed yourselves in the challenge the moment Owen wussed up and got in the cart first. But again, through the magic of off-screen alchemy, they mustered through that and now must dig under the wall. And even though they're at a disadvantage, only having spoons to dig with Gwen throwing it, they'll still be able to beat the gaffers. It's just going to take a little bit of hard work, but I'm sure they'll put some effort into doing that, right?
Justin, I can hear them way ahead of us.
Chill. Gwen's throwing the game, remember?
Oh, right.
Yeah, okay. What do you say we ratchet this operation back a notch, huh?
So to clarify, in the Aesop fable of the tortoise and the hare, we are rooting for the hare, right? I mean, I have to assume because these are the underdogs, and our underdogs have the exact same mentality as the hare. You're not even gonna try and win this one? What if Gwen's team overpower her and win it despite her efforts to throw it? Then lazing about and encouraging the others to laze about is really gonna bite you in the ass.
Yeah, okay. What do you say we ratchet this operation back a notch, huh?
Are we sure Gwen's throwing the challenge and not you guys instead? Because you're doing the exact same thing Trent did, but unintentionally. In fact, you're gonna hate me for saying this. I'm gonna hate me for saying this, but Trent throwing challenges is an example of him having better gameplay than the rest of the Grips. I wouldn't have said that if I didn't think it was true. I mean, I hate that Trent threw challenges and why he did it, but in the end, at least he was trying to do something. He put effort into doing something that I hated, but heck, at least it was effort. But the Grips don't even try to win the challenge, and yet they still win anyway. And for anyone who hasn't seen my list of the top 10 worst #1 hit songs of the 2010s, I will pardon effort into making something I despise over complete lack of effort altogether, like the Grips displayed here. The only debatable effort I saw in the entire episode came from the writers, who I think genuinely tried making something that they know I detest. And if they were, they succeeded without question. Yep, the episodes with Trent in them I don't think were bad enough to be called terrible, but the first one we have without him I call the worst of the season so far. Now, does that mean nothing was good in it? Actually, no. I still like the overall concept, and the gaffers in general were still an entertaining and likable team. Even DJ gets better as a character, and Gwen, despite the action she performs that I'd otherwise hate, isn't the worst character either. But the Grips destroyed this episode completely. They honestly overshadow any good quality I could find in the episode. Something even Trent as absolute worst couldn't do. And when you have me saying that TDA Trent was a better character than 4 other people in one episode, then that is the worst crime of all, and rightfully earns this episode the sentence of life in prison without parole. I think this episode made me physically sick. It's someone pointing to a good doctor.
Calling Dr. Howard. Dr. Fine. Dr. Howard.
Ha ha ha, very funny. Can you point me to better doctors than those?
Morning, competitors! Or should I say, doctors!
Marginal improvement.
People standing confirms I've created my own prison.